payroll taxes. I said this is going to be a review for you guys because you all had this before, but maybe it's been a little while. That's fine. So we got 6 learning objectives that we're going to talk about in here, and what I'm mainly going to do is like try and go through. We're probably going to spend most of our time on that income tax withholding. Now the good news is, you remember when you took payroll tax, or Tyler, you're now taking payroll tax, and we've got the pre-2019 method and the post-2020 W-4s. We've got those 2 W-4s. We had to learn about both methods. Your textbook doesn't bother with the old pre-2019 stuff. So we're only going to focus on the W-4 from 2020 and later. Okay, so we still have the percentage method and the wage bracket method that we have to look at, but at least we only have one overarching method to look, one W-4 to look at. So we'll talk a little bit about the tax issues between payroll and the Form 1040. This is pretty elementary, just the fact that what happens in payroll affects the 1040 ultimately, right? Income tax withholding, we'll talk about Social Security and Medicare taxes as well. Just kind of a little reminder of how those Medicare and Social Security taxes work, kind of a reminder of how the tip taxes on tips work as well. We'll go through and review the rules for reporting and paying those payroll taxes. Remember, we had kind of those funky rules with regard to paying. Essentially, the more you owe, the faster the IRS wants their money, right? That is true. Well, that's true of all of us, right? We all feel that way. So they've got some different pay schedules depending upon how much is owed. I'm not going to go into too much of I'm not going to go into the details of the penalties. Just know that there are various penalties. We'll look at that Form 941 again, pull it up. That form changes like every year. They have different lines because there have been so many changes with regard to payroll over the last couple of years. We're now kind of getting back to normal, but there were so many weird things that happened with COVID and payroll. There were all sorts of breaks that employers were given. So that 941 went through a lot of different gyrations over the last few years. Self-employment taxes, we're going to go into that. Now, one thing that we're going to discuss is, so when we talk about self-employment taxes in the payroll class, we're pretty basic with it. Don't really get any deeper into it other than, it's going to be 7.65% employer portion, 7.65% employee portion, put them together, and that's your self-employment tax. We'll get a little bit deeper into that because there are a couple of things that, actually one main calculation that we do in this class that we don't do in the payroll class. Let's see, unemployment taxes as well, federal, state unemployment taxes, Form 940, we'll take a look at that again. Household employees in Schedule H, so those nannies and butlers and cooks that I know you all have. I know mine are, there's such a problem. So this is for any household employees. Those household employees are subject to payroll taxes. The owner of the household who employs them is their employer. They're not independent contractors if they provide services only to that family. So they are subject to all of those payroll taxes as well. It's just that it's not reported like it is for other companies that have employees. It's reported a little bit differently and paid a little bit differently. W-2s and the W-3 we'll take a look at. And then supplemental wage payments. So amount like bonuses, things like that. They've got their own tax rate. Backup withholding, we'll discuss a little bit in the Form W-9, which is associated with contractors for the most part. Estimated tax payments, this is where I want to spend most of the time actually, these estimated tax payments and the Form 1040 ES stands for estimated. So, any questions about what we're gonna do? Like I said, this chapter, I think they try to do too much in this chapter, because this is essentially the entire payroll class, right? So we're gonna, like I said, this is gonna be mainly a review for us so that you can recall all of those concepts, those key concepts in payroll, okay? Questions? Oh, okay. Hold on just a second.